Hi, I'm Melissa. This year I'm teaching 5th grade math in a departmentalized classroom. On a daily basis, I see 3 different levels of math students. Having different level math students can be challenging, so I'm always looking for ways to meet the students at their learning level. Staying organized is also a challenge for me, so that's why I love using digital task cards with my students. Everything I need is in one spot, and I'm able to individualize to meet the needs of all the students in my classroom.
Hi, my name is Della, and I've been teaching in the primary grades for over 30 years. I started in the mid 80s. I know, a lot of you weren't even born yet, but I've seen lots and lots of theories and ideas come and go over the years. And I'll tell you, nothing has impacted my class more than boom cards. So boom cards are basically a take on the old-fashioned task cards that we've all used in our classroom. You know, you get those cards, you laminate them, and the kids use a clothespin or a paper clip to make a decision about what the correct answer is. Well, this takes it to a whole new level. Melissa, can you tell us how you use boom cards in your class?
So, one of the great things about boom cards is they can be used across grades and across subject areas. And it's the same way in your classroom. Boom is not a one size fits all. You can use it for whatever you need it to be. So, I use it a variety of different ways in my classroom. So, one of my favorite things to do is to pull them up on my smartboard and use my smartboard as a no prep technology center. I usually have a multiple choice deck up on my smartboard for students to practice, either independently or in small group. And I'm able to see while I'm greeting students how the students are doing on the smartboard. I'm also able to hear the discussions that my students are having with one another, and I can either intervene or I can ask them guiding questions to pull out more of their ideas. And I've taught the students how to go through the library in my boom cards so that way they can pull up another deck. So they're not waiting on me and I don't have to leave what I'm doing for them to start something new. So, another great way that I use boom cards is during math instruction. A lot of times we need a lot of visuals, and drawing visuals is complicated, and I'm not the best artist. So, having visuals built into my boom cards helps me to save time, and we're able to use those models in our math discussions. And I'm able to hear accountable talk with the students, and it really saves a lot of time. Another feature that I love to use is the reporting feature. So after a lesson, I might assign a boom card based on the lesson that I gave. Before we break out into math centers, I want to make sure that all the students in my classroom understand the content that I just taught, because if they didn't understand the content, then they may not understand the centers. And the great thing about boom cards is I have the reporting feature right here on my phone. When I pull up the boom card app, I can watch how my students are doing and I'm able to provide immediate intervention. So I'm not having to wait on the students to turn in a piece of paper and grade it to see if they understood what I was teaching. I'm able to see how they're doing and I'm able to go over and offer help without the students having to raise their hand. So it saves me time, it builds confidence because the students know if they don't get it, it's going to turn red and their teacher is going to come over and offer some support. So, using them on my smartboard, using them during instruction, using them after instruction as a formative assessment to see how the students are understanding are 3 great ways that you can use boom cards. Obviously, I use them in math centers. I may even have 2 boom cards going as math centers because I always have students that need help with fluency. And because I'm able to individualize, I may have a student that needs help with long division over here, but I may have a student over here that still needs help with their basic multiplication facts. Boom cards allows me to assign decks for students based on what they need. And that is the beauty of it. A lot of times, before I give a test, I may send out a boom card via a fast pin to parents on Class Dojo so that way they can watch their students practice right from their phone and see, ooh, my child needs some additional help. and they know what they need to study before a test. So those are some of the ways that I use boom cards. It's never the same, but I love the ease. Everything is in one place, and I can tailor it to meet the needs of my students. So Della, tell me how you use boom cards in the primary grades.
So Melissa uses them a little bit differently than I do in the lower grades. Let's face it, if you teach in the lower grades, you don't want your kids on Chromebooks and iPads all day long. They need to be out, moving around, in centers, moving, thinking, hands-on materials. But there is a time and a place for digital resources in the primary grades. And the way that I use them in my classroom as an extension on reading groups. So I will bring up my reading group, I work on kids with a specific skill, and then I move those kids over to a technology center where they sit down with 4 or 5 Chromebooks and they extend on that skill. So if we're working on vowel sounds, I can move them over to the Chromebook and give them an additional lesson with extended practice on vowel sounds. Then when they're done there, they move back into the general population. And we just have that nice circular motion throughout the morning when I have guided reading groups. I mean, when I first started teaching, that was one of my biggest struggles. What do you do with the other kids when you're having a reading group? I mean, it was like herding cats. It was so hard at the beginning. But Boom Cards has made reading groups so much easier. Every day I can get through at least 3 reading groups, sometimes even 4. And I know that my children who are over at the Chromebooks are getting this and a double dose of their reading. And it's made a huge difference with my children. The other way that I use Boom Cards in my class is through learning centers. So my children spend about an hour a day going to centers. We have dramatic play, sand table, art, building. We have all kinds of centers, but I also have lots of academic centers. So I have a literacy center, I have a math center, I have a writing center. And I, every day, swap out one of my centers to be a Boom Card. So my math center, maybe my kids need a little extra help with subitizing. So I'll have a boom deck on 10 frames where they're working on that. Maybe I need extra help with sight words. I mean, really, sight words can be so hard and your kids need extra help with it. But it's kind of mindless if they're just sitting there building sight words without actually hearing it, with no context to understand what the word is. Boom Cards change that. So they can go to a center, work on some word work, especially sight words. They hear the word, they build the word. It has made a huge difference. So that's how I use Boom Cards in my classroom, as an extension of reading groups and as a learning center. Melissa, can you just review the top features of Boom?
Absolutely, Della. As we discussed in the video, Boom Cards offer so many features. First and foremost, all the cards are digital. Therefore, we do not have to print them, cut them, or laminate them. We don't have to keep them organized, hand them out, and there is no loss of cards. Boom Cards are for all grade levels and all subject areas. And they offer the self-checking feature. So as students are working, they're able to see whether they are understanding the content or not. If they're not understanding it, the answer choice will turn up red, and the students know that they need some additional support so that way they understand the content. As a teacher walking around the classroom, you don't have to hover over their shoulder to check the work that they're doing. You can see as you walk around the classroom the students' computers, or you can look at the reports available on the Boom app. A variety of answer choices are also acceptable on Boom Cards. So you can have a set of Boom Cards that have multiple choice answers. You can have Boom decks with open response answers. You can even have a Boom deck that has multiple select, which is a huge skill in the upper grades. So as we get ready to get into test prep season, you can have a Boom Card deck that offers all 3 different types of answer choices. Another great feature that Boom offers is the sound feature. As Della mentioned, in the primary grades, this is so beneficial because the students can click on the sound icon and have a question read out loud or a sight word read out loud so that way they can sound out the word instead of sitting there and wondering what it is that they're supposed to be doing. Another great feature about boom cards is besides being able to interact with the boom cards on student devices, you can use your interactive board in your classroom. So that way your board is being used as a technology center that you don't have to prep for. Last but not least, all of your boom decks are stored conveniently inside of your boom library. So you don't have to search or find or figure out where you had saved something on your computer. Everything is in one spot that you can use and assign to your students in their boom classroom. Now that you've heard all the benefits of using Boom and how easy it is to assign students decks based on their level of need and your need as an instructor of the classroom, we hope that you're encouraged. Della and I will be coming back with more videos to show you all the features that Boom has to offer and to show you how to use each feature so that way you're maximizing Boom to its fullest potential.
So I hope that you're really excited about trying a new resource. I know how hard it can be when you're trying to incorporate digital into your classroom and you feel unsure about yourself, but know that Melissa and I are here to help you through every single step. We're passionate about boom cards, and we think that if more teachers knew about it, you would be passionate about it too. So feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, and we'll be happy to help you along this digital journey together.